Xion looked up at the stars for a moment to get his bearings, then made his way to the west, hoping to return to his home and find Bonnie and Lulu waiting for him. He reached his village only to find it decimated and abandoned. What could have done this? He thought to himself as he sifted through the rubble. There was a low growl from behind, and Xion caught the scent of a coyote. The coyote came out from behind the rubble, growling at Xion. But as Xion changed from fox to human to face the threat with his newfound sword, a look of terror came over the coyote. "You. No, you can't be." It yelped as it turned to run. "The ghost of the she-devil." The coyote yelled as he ran for his life. The coyote tripped over a rock, rolled a ways, and kept running, never looking back. Then a white-furred fox came out from beneath a rubble pile on the far side of the village and walked toward him, changing from fox to human as she did so. "I suppose I owe you a debt of gratitude, sir. I have been trying to lose that coyote all morning," she said, then stopped short, and her eyes went wide as she stared at the blue mark on Xion's forehead. "Xion of the Sand, I presume?" she asked as she moved in closer and began circling and looking him up and down. "Yes," Xion replied. "I am afraid I do not recognize you," he continued as he watched her carefully. "Your father never told you about me. That hurts a little bit," the fox replied with a quick sniff. "You smell just like him." "I have no time for my father's vixens," Xion replied with a growl. The white fox slapped Xion hard, causing him to take a step back and snap at her. "Never speak of him that way," she balked in a hurt tone. "My father was a reckless pirate and thief who got himself killed for it. What do you care?" Xion balked back. "Our father," the woman growled angrily. Xion stopped and looked at her again, and he could see it in her eyes. They were his father's eyes. His eyes, the unmistakable shimmering green. "You are my sister then, from the north?" Xion asked. "They say you can read people like the boy. You tell me." Xion looked deep into her eyes, and he could see his father. A kind and caring man smiling warmly at a young girl he held high above his head. He saw his father in a den on the slopes of the frozen mountains with another mate. Then he felt the sorrow the little girl felt as his father fled the mountain in the night, leaving behind his family to keep them safe. "Lily of the Snow?" Xion asked. "Yes," Lily replied. "I was named after our father's favorite flower, and he was one of the bravest men I have ever known. He stole the secret of the pirate king's treasure and fled to this desert to protect my mother and I. If he had stayed when the king's men came for him, the whole fox clan could have been killed. So I will not allow you to sully his good name. He told me about the king's treasure, but he never spoke of you or your mother, so why are you here now?" "Aunts, no." A small maroon-furred fox ran up to Lily and grabbed her pants leg, looking at Xion with eyes full of wonder, and as Xion looked at him he saw something that shook him. Those familiar green eyes. "I told you to wait, Oliver," Lily said as she ran her fingers through the little fox's maroon locks. Lily had said read people like the boy. This boy. And as Xion stared, it dawned on him. There was only one way the boy could read people and have eyes that mirrored his own. This was his boy. "Xion, this is your son Oliver." The confirmation rang in his ears, and as he looked down at the boy staring back at him nervously, there was no denying it. The boy looked just like him, save his maroon fur. And Xion knew where that came from: Bonnie. The two stared for a moment longer, and Oliver gripped Lily's pant leg a bit harder. "Lily, where is Bonnie?" Xion asked, not taking his eyes off of the boy. "Xion, let's go to my den. The sun will be up soon, and we do not want to be out in the open," Lily said, leaving Xion to drown in his sea of swirling thoughts. They reached Lily's den on the very edge of the desert, where the sand becomes the hard rock of the jagged canyon just before daybreak, and Xion could smell the other fox nearby, so he guessed this is where they had gone. "Go rest, Oliver. Your father and I have to talk for a while," Lily said as she went to a nook in the rock and pulled a small bloody book, its pages torn and tattered. "Yes, Aunt Snow," Oliver replied as he went deeper into the den. "The Fox Elder gave me this book when he brought Ollie to the Northern Fox clan. He said it was your mother's last will, and that she had died fighting off a raid from the wolves, allowing the desert fox to escape." Xion took the tattered leather and flipped through the few pages that remained. His mother had written about his father and her travels from the east. But he flipped to the back where he read the entry from the night he left and cried as he learned Bonnie's fate. There were a few stories of Oliver's childhood, teething, the first time he changed, and Lulu's last entry stained with her blood. Xion looked up from the page and wiped the tears from his eyes. "Lily, how long have I been gone?" "I don't know," Lily replied. "The old man that brought Oliver to our village said he was the son or grandson of a snow fox, and when I saw the boy's eyes there was no doubt we were related. They gave me your mother's diary, so I knew you were his father, but they did not know who his mother was or even if she was still alive." Xion knew who she was. The only person she could be, Bonnie. The reason people only had children within their clan was that when clans were too different, as with Bonnie and Xion, a child is rarely conceivable, often horribly deformed, or stillborn. But Bonnie had used black magic to bend the laws of nature and made sure her child would be fine, and she paid for it with her life. "So why did you bring the boy back here? Why not raise him in the mountains? You think it would have been better in the snowy Alps?" Lily retorted. "The Treaty of Fangs and Claws only covers clans of white. They are not very welcoming to outsiders, and the boy sticks out like a sore thumb. I would have never been able to hunt in the snow with his fur giving me away at every turn. So I came back with the desert fox to raise the boy. I had planned to go home once he could fend for himself. But now that you are here, I can leave him in your care." Lily paused here and thought for a moment. "Or I could stay a while until you get your wits about you. Or you could even come with me if you think the snow would suit you better than this barren waste. So which is it, Xion? What would you have me do?" Xion's mind was far away now. He thought of everything he had lost, but even more than that he thought of the boy. Oliver was all he had left of Bonnie, and what would she want for him? He let his hand fall from the table and come to rest on the sword at his hip. He felt its power jolt through him again, and with that jolt his mind was made up. "This is my home. The home my father chose, the home my mother died for, the home where I met my love, and where our child was born." He thought to himself, "Lily, will you please watch the boy a while longer? There are a few things I have to set in order." Xion asked as he stood to leave. "Oliver?" Lily replied sternly, "Your son's name is Oliver and you cannot run from him forever." "I have no intention of running, but I must build a home for him. A safe place where he can live in peace, and not even the snowy mountains can offer him that." "And the desert can," Lily retorted. "Not as it is. But maybe with this sword I can change it." "Do you intend to tame the desert itself?" Lily asked, seeing the look of determination as he stood up to leave. "Through blood if I must," Xion replied. Xion went into the village of the Desert Fox, and just as the coyote had before, a few of them looked at him with terror in their eyes, thinking him to be the ghost of his mother. Members of the Fox clan are mostly nomadic, often thieves, or opportunistic hunters. The concept of a village or pack was not as important to them as, say, the dragons or wolves, but still they kept a small tight-knit band for raising pups and caring for the elderly. "Who is your leader?" Xion barked as he walked the worn path through the heart of the village. "I am," an old gray fox said as the rest of the Fox clan gathered round. Xion could see the fear in their hearts and all they had been through as his eyes wandered from face to face. He saw how weak and frail they looked compared to him, and he knew then what he had to do. He gave a heavy sigh and drew his sword, prepared to strike the old fox down. "I challenge you for dominion over this clan." "Put the sword away, boy. My fighting days are far behind me." The old man said as the other fox began to whisper and growl in protest, but the old fox waved his tail to silence them. "You are Xion," he said as he recalled the she-devil. "Your mother died protecting this clan, and you are without a doubt the strongest of us, so it is only right that you become our patron." "But elder, he is a mountain fox," someone cried out in protest from the crowd. "The desert has been my home from the time I was born," Xion barked. "And it is as our elder has said, my mother gave her life for this clan, and so will I should the need arise." Xion did as the elder had asked him to, and sheathed his sword. He scanned the crowd and strained his ears. He knew if he was to be challenged, it would not be directly. He would be attacked from behind, so he let his guard down, gave the old man a nod, then turned to leave, listening for the movement of the sand, the sound of an assailant making his move. But much to his delight, his size and sword had been enough. With the clan behind him, he set out to address his greatest threat, the wolves of the northern temple.